Guys, we're back to another new episode of Amnesia, the Dark Descent. Last episode we saw that water monster. Apparently it was called a Kearnk. Figure it out for yourself, guys. Anyway, guys, we hit above 400 channel views, guys, and we got 45 subscribers. Too good, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for the support. Anyway, let's continue into the game. If I'm not wrong, we stopped somewhere near the water after the water monster level. Let's check that out. At this point, I'm basically speedrunning the game. I'm trying to finish this game as fast as I can because I don't want to bore you guys so much.
This level is the high point of the lurker build-up, which sort of started in an entrance level with the slime appearing. It's supposed to be a sort of roller coaster ride and is designed to be easy enough to be completed on the first try. Yet, it should also be stressful. Many of the things in a level that seems like you barely make it are just scripted to be that way. But it's nothing you notice because they're blended in with the truly deadly stuff.
Hi, I am Tapio, and I made monster sounds and vision sounds for this game. Yeah, I just love this monster. I think it was pretty fun to make because there was underwater sounds as well as sound from the above. I think I wanted it to sound like a very big monster, but still very fast. And I feel the voice itself in the beat, like it's booming because it was splashing around and messing other sounds. Actually, a great example is the attack sound, where there's big water splash as it sounds from the water. At the same time, you can hear a short scream sound, which is made from the cat sounds. I think it works great. I think also a great sound is when it's just eating in the water. You can hear it eating meat and hear bones crashing under the water. I made the eating sounds by walking in the water and breaking dry wooden sticks. The sound itself didn't need much processing or editing because it sounded almost like you hear now. Well, this is water monster, so I recorded lots of water sounds. For example, bubble sounds are made with a water can, which is sunken in the water. And when it's chasing the player, its movement is made by a big rock, which I just threw in the lake. It feels like it's running after you or getting its big hands in the water. I think there's lots of power in this monster.
basically a waiting simulator, guys. Look at this. Shut up. Everything's good. Why the hell are you so loud?
This is the second hub level of the game, and is supposed to give some contrast to the stressful lurker encounter. We think building up contrast like this is extremely important for the horror mood.
Oh, it is.
Only by seeing a bright level can you appreciate the dark one, and so on.
Oh my god.
If you do not do this, player will get
God
used to
damn,
the
that's
stuff
sexy.
and the effect will
That
lessen
looks
greatly.
good. Thank you, man. Give me some confidence here. Where am I supposed to go? Not there. Music is great. Okay. So basically, this part is good. Nothing can happen to us here is what they're telling. Because the music is so good, and the moment you go to
In the
somewhere-
original pitch, Herbert was a fairly important character, but it didn't really reflect in the games, so we tried a few different things to incorporate him, but it never really made any sense. Herbert was important to Daniel's background, but in the end he didn't have any impact on the story happening right now, that is, the conflict between Daniel and Alexander. So most of his things was cut during the last stage of production.
That's sad. This video is gonna be uncut, guys, because I try to cut a lot of my videos, but this is gonna be uncut because I wanna try to make it as continuous as possible. Okay, fine, wait. Excuse me, guys, let us this thing push it. And why the hell are you acting like? I just want some oil. Is that too much to ask for? Sorry if I'm not talking too much, guys, but it's because it's because I'm just trying to enjoy how much this graphics looks good on my PC, because my PC is the worst you can ever find. It runs a game, I'm happy about that. But even then. What is it with the heavenly music kind of thing? Guys?
This map was one of the most fun to make because of the rooms have more objects than we usually add in the levels. I think the first two rooms was pretty good, just because of this. but we can't add this many objects in every room in the game, because that would, first of all, be very demanding on your PC's performance, and a lot of our players doesn't have gaming rigs.
This guy's
Secondly, it wouldn't make sense if every room or corridor was a storage. We also try very hard to vary the levels and rooms as much as we can do. This level was also the first time in the game the player had any contact with outside. So for this part I had to make a couple of different wall pieces, a pine tree and a breakable version of the window. And I can talk a little bit more about the breakable window here. When creating breakable objects like this, we have to first of all break the model by splitting parts up and creating pieces. Like on this window, it has a lot of wood parts that are loose after it breaks. Those parts are remodeled into broken versions, and in the broken version of the window, they're actually hanging in the air at the same place they were when the window was whole. After modeling those and exporting the model into collab format, which our engine handles, I use our in-house model editor, set each wood part up with a body for collision, and I also add weight for it to behave realistically. I also add material type, in this case wood, and that is so that wood sound is played when the beats hit something. You can also set up more advanced stuff like how it will behave in water, how fast it can travel, and how fast the speed will decay, but also a lot of other settings as well. But when that broken version is done, I also set up the special entity of the original window where I set it to break at a certain force, and when that happens another entity will load and this one will disappear. And in this case we load the broken version of the window. We also set it up so a particle system with glass shards is going to be played as well as a breakdown. And as soon as you break that window and all that is happening, and since you probably threw something at the window, the force of that object will make the wood pieces slide, not fall straight to the ground as they would otherwise. That is pretty much how we do it with most breakable entities, but of course creating a particle system and sounds for this is needed too. And in this level you can also see a lot of props that I made earlier, before we started making maps. This is objects like shelves, tables, chairs, paintings, etc. But of course I didn't make all the objects in this level.
Finally! Can I keep one of the bones, the heads? You know what, we should name him. We should name him. What should we do? Oh my god. Anyway, oh, sorry. We'll name him Jack. After Jack's after guy. You're taking your alarm, Jack. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's more like it. Jack looks like you'll come in handy later.
The decision to have the player go outside in this map started out as a quick and dirty idea for some sort of puzzle. However, it turned out very nicely, and to see the trees really gives a feeling of being in a castle and not just on some set. The first idea was not even to have the player break the window and just have it open directly instead. But when we added it, we felt it gave a really nice feel and reward for finishing the puzzle. In retrospect, we should have had more moments when the player ventures outside, and it gives this feel of being a part of a larger world.
When will it be my turn? Have I not shown restraint? My patience spans centuries from Agrippa, I trust. Okay. That was fun. Jack already. Is that a bad or a good thing? Oh, looks like I'm doing that. Hey! The best prop in the game, guys.
journal is gone. What would they want with my journal? of July, 1839. I received a letter today from the Algerian governor's office disclosing the fate of Herbert's expedition. About a week after my departure, Abdullah, one of the men traveling with us, returned from the desert. He was badly injured, as if maimed by a lion. The man rambled deliriously about the expedition being attacked by something horrible. The French quickly dispatched a search party to look for the expedition. After searching for days, they found the camp abandoned without any trace of Herbert or his men. Tomorrow, I'll retrieve the things they recovered from Herbert's tent at the customs house. I don't know what to make of it, but I'm worried for him.
If you listen to the music tracks more carefully, you may find that characters have their own musical themes, which can usually be heard when you read papers during the game. These themes appear in many variations, so it's not always so easy to recognize them immediately. And in the end of the game, some of these themes will go quite insane. Oh, and that's Daniel's theme, which you can hear in the game's menu screen. Let me play it to you with piano.
3rd of July, 1839. Today I picked up Herbert's things at the customs house.
Shall I skip this?
I dug through the trove of documents he had carried and found a log detailing the expedition.
Was that?
The nature of this text ranged from quick notes to colourful accounts of transpired events.
I see.
I skimmed the pages, trying to figure out what might have happened.
I see.
May 17th, the day I was trapped inside the orb chamber, Herbert dryly states,
Sorry about that.
recovered Daniel after 1 hour of entrapment. This confused me greatly. I was suffocating within minutes. How could I have lasted an hour? I continued reading the peculiar text. Herbert states his facts without judgment or passion, but suddenly I could read frustration into his text. He pushed his men to investigate the underground tomb, an effort which seems to have strained the minds of his men. Madness spread through the ranks, and Herbert had to take some extreme measures to continue. He finally visits the chamber himself, where he retrieves the orb to the surface. His account confuses me greatly. If he has the orb, what are those pieces in my drawing room?
When we create props, we usually have concept pictures or reference images to look at when modeling the object, just to make sure it stays within the art style that we are going for. When creating a chair, a table, or a bookcase, just to name a few, we usually have to plan the measurements before we get them into the game, because having something in the game that isn't the right size can break the immersion. But sometimes you have to cheat that and test it out, because the camera perspective can really trick you. I have the perfect example of the camera tricking you sometimes. Take out the lantern in-game and look at the wall or an object in the same height as the lantern and try guessing how big the lantern will be
4th
next
of
to
July,
that object.
1839.
Then walk up as close as you
It's
can
done.
to that object and
The
compare.
ancients...
If you got a good example out of this, you see that the hand and lantern is in fact very small, but it feels right when it's close to the camera. But we don't want to go on gut feeling on the measurements of every object. That could really get out of hand quickly, and a lot of things could feel out of place. So it's basically a matter of changing the scale if it feels weird. When modeling the prop, we try to make it as close as the reference images as we can, or if you got a sketch, that is. It's often a quite simple process that usually doesn't take that much time, but it completely depends on what it is and if the sketch we have are detailed. Before giving the model a texture and working on that, we need to create a UV map for it. A UV map can best be described as an image with painted and edited details to it that is wrapped around the object. So the texture for a cardboard box, for example, would look like a box that you have unfolded onto the ground. After the UV map is created, we start to work on the texture. And here, we usually start with adding untouched materials like wood or metal, and these are from free photos found on the internet. We also paint in dirt in corners, highlighting the edges. We can also bake and add an ambient occlusion map to the texture, which is basically a process where the computer calculates where the texture should be.
Why did the music change? I like the old one.
Don't forget your bag, Daniel.
I won't, Herbert.
There is no shame in using a parasol in the desert. As it happens, it's imperative to your survival.
But it looks ridiculous.
The shade will hurt much less than dying, I assure you.
storage. Okay guys, we'll end that episode there. So Will Smith had been marked, guys. Will Smith had been marked. Amnesia. Okay guys, thank you for watching. I hope you liked today's video. If you liked it, I know the audio is extremely bad. The video clarity is extremely bad. I'm saving up, guys, so you don't have to worry about that for too long. I'm trying to save up to buy a mic so that at least my audio can be decent. I have like $300. There's like nothing you can get for that here. So guys, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked my video, hit that like button. If you want to convey some message, sure, do it in the comments below. If you didn't like the button, you can hit the dislike button, or you can tell me in the comments below why you didn't like it so that I can fix it in the next episode. If you want to share it to your friends, sure guys, because help me out, guys. I'm just trying to grow as a YouTuber, because I did say in the first video that we are gonna be big. I mean, if we're gonna be big, I mean, we have to tell the people, right? So if you don't mind, please. Okay, it's getting awkward, sorry. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos. I know I sound like a crazy vlogger who will be like, what's up guys, subscribe to my video, even before they start their content. But no, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.